Alright, fellas, it's your boy Tacho here, and we are back finally with the update that we just got for Fire Emblem Heroes. So let's just go ahead and take a look. There's actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about here today, so we're just going to start in-game with the notifications, and I'm going to cover all the stuff in here. And then right after that, we're going to hop over to my PC, and I'm going to show you guys some of the data mines we actually got. So starting off here with the notifications, the auto dispatch feature is going to be added to Aether raids starting now with this new update. So the way this works, I kind of covered this already in the Fate channel where they talked about this, but the way this works is you're able to dispatch your Aether raids raiding party, and after 20 hours have elapsed, that team is going to go ahead and do a fight for you. And you're only going to earn 75% of the normal amount of lift when you do this feature, so you may want to watch out for that. It's not going to be worth it to do this if you're trying to like maintain tier 27 or go for those golden thrones, because of course you're going to want to maximize score if you're going to go for that. Also, it's impossible for the Aether pots to show up in these fights, so you're not going to be able to recover any Aether if you go ahead and use the dispatch feature. So a little bit unfortunate there, but you are going to be fighting pretty easy teams, so it doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard for your team to just easily secure the wins. So that is a nice thing, of course. A lot of the defense setups people have been running are just super toxic and easily get KOs against your team. So this could be easier for casual players if they want to play the mode and gain the rewards without actually having to play the mode itself, if you know what I mean. Like, from me, I totally get it. I do try to be competitive in the mode, and I try to score as good as I can, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, because, of course, it can take as much as, like, 30 minutes to an hour to do one fight if you have to think about every situation and really strategize, really come up with the perfect way to play the fight. It's just really time-consuming, and I understand, I just get it if people don't have the time to bother with it every day. Like, even me, like, sometimes I just don't even care. I'll just end turn and pray that things work with one of my bait units. So, yeah, like, I totally get it, and it's a good feature, but it's really more for the casual players that don't really care too much about Aether raids, and they just don't want to go through the hassle of the long fights and the overthinking. So, not too bad there. Okay, we have the Divine Codes Ephemera 7 coming out, and these are going to be the units that we can select. So pretty good choices here, actually. We have the Summer Lindy, who is not too bad. She comes with Starfish as her weapon, and it's basically just a dagger with built-in desperation. So pretty solid, actually, if you want to go for a desperation build on a dagger unit, and then you still want to have something else in their B slot. So not too shabby for a seasonal weapon. Unfortunately, the Summer Leo isn't quite as useful as that Lindy. And for the 4-star options, we have Legault and Echidna, who really stand out. Echidna is fantastic to go for merges on. She's one of the best infantry axe free-to-play merge options we've got. And she's got a really nice speed stat, so pretty solid to go for. Also, if you don't want to use her for merges, you could just take Drive Attack 2, which she comes with as her C skill. And Legault, of course, what do we need to say about him? He comes with Attack Tactic 3 and the Cleaner, which is really awesome fodder. So, pretty cool stuff there. Okay, the refines, we're going to cover those in just a second. Alright, so Aether Raids and Aether Resorts have been updated. So, the Tactic Room on offense and defense can now be upgraded to level 7. So, I guess that's okay. The Tactics Room, it's pretty solid against Cav-line teams, which are becoming increasingly popular nowadays. So, the Tactics Room may not be too bad of a structure to go ahead and level up if you want. And Aether Resort has been updated, so we have some new songs you can get in the concert hall. So if you're interested in those, check them out. Alright, Mjolnir Strike has been updated, so some of the mechanisms can be leveled up again. And not too big a deal. I mean, I don't even run any of the structures in Mjolnir Strike. I just put on the bonus structure, and that's about it. Okay, additional heroes are going to be in the Grail Shop now, so Ashnard and the Bride Hinata. Actually, let's really quickly go ahead and take a look. Okay, that's a really big win for everybody, because Ashnard is one of the best. Alright, so there they are. So we got the Bride Hinata with Huge Fan, which is really nice for fodder. And of course, Ashnard, who's just a really solid unit if you want to build him up and go for the +10. He's probably my favorite boss character ever in the entire series. Like, Ashnard is the epitome of a final boss. Really love that guy. Let me just quickly take a look at my Ashnard and show you guys what I've done. So, I sacrificed one of the Kid Katas that I had lying around as a manual. And I was able to pick up Joint Hone Attack and also Distant Counter on this guy. So, he's pretty ready to go for the most part. All I'll have to do now at this point is maybe pass along that new beast skill for flying units that we just got that reduces damage from the foe's first combat by 50%. So that could be pretty rad on this guy, but I know a lot of people are going to be happy to go for the plus 10 merges on Ashnard, so really cool that we got him in the Grail shop now. And let's just really quickly see what else we have in this update, and then we'll head over to the data mines. Alright, where were we? Okay, we were over here. Okay, so Duo Heroes and Harmonized Heroes sprites are going to be a little bit smaller now if you have the Duo Hero display on. I guess that makes sense, because the Duo Heroes, they did show up a little bit bigger than they should have on the actual maps. So, not too, like, it's not the biggest deal, but it's just a little aesthetic change there. Okay, here's a big one. You can turn off the CPU from using assist skills when you have the auto battle turned on. This is a huge deal, of course, because the CPU is really dumb, and if you have reposition equipped, they will just loop reposition over and over again and never make any progress. So I've actually encountered the dreaded reposition loop myself a couple of times, and it's pretty annoying. So we can finally turn that off. That's really good. Okay, options for various home notifications have been added to settings. Okay, I guess if you want notifications to be turned on to let you know what's going on, that could be nice. It's pretty good for Mjolnir Strike, because that mode is only up for 1 day for whatever reason. So in case you forget to do your run for Mjolnir Strike, you can have the notification come up to remind you. Okay, Hero Check button has been added to the summoning screen. Okay, so this is like Sharena's, the, like, hero reviews that she does, where she'll tell you about each hero if you want to just know a little bit about him. So I guess that's pretty cool. And that's pretty much about it. It doesn't look like too much else is added here in the actual in-game notifications. So let's go ahead and head over now to my PC, and we'll take a look at some of the data mines we've got. Alright, so it's time for us to take a look at the data mines. So we're going to start things off by looking at the refines for the units, starting with the female Corrin. So her refine is Gloom Breath, and what it says here is, at the start of the turn, inflicts attack and speed -7 on foes within 2 spaces through their next actions. So it's already like threaten attack and speed plus or something like that, where she can just debuff the foes in 2 spaces right at the start. And after combat, if unit attacks, inflicts attack and speed -7 on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through their next actions, and it has adaptive damage like all breath weapons do. So basically built-in attack and speed smoke, and then also threaten attack and speed, so pretty solid for a debuffing weapon. And then the special effect here is grants bonus to attack, speed, defense, and res during combat, equal to the current penalty on each of target's stats. Calculates each stat bonus independently. So pretty much the same as Saizo's refine for the most part, and this Gloom Breath weapon here is going to function similarly to Saizo's Star. I believe that's what his weapon was called. So pretty solid stuff, actually. It's really nice that this Corrin was able to get a weapon like this. Weapons that just raise stats based on the foe's debuffs or the foe's buffs or anything like that are always going to be really solid, because you can just stat stack yourself to crazy levels. And this Corrin female just really needed that. Alright, so next let's take a look at Berkut. So Dark Royal Spear. If foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is full at the start of combat, grants attack, defense, and res up 5 to unit during combat. Alright, pretty solid stat bonuses there, and pretty easy to activate. I mean, if the foe initiates combat, that's basically any time he baits the foes. So pretty good stuff. And it also comes with built-in lull attack and defense 3, which is very solid, of course. The lull skills are just super meta. Everyone pretty much runs them if they have the option to. So, very nice refine here for Berkut. Okay, we have the Fallen Celica up next with Beloved Zofia. So, it says here grants defense up 3 and grants attack, speed, defense, and res up 4 during combat. Okay, very good right out the gates, because of course she had that really silly requirement for that before, where she only got the stats if she was at full HP, and that's just a big no-no, so it's nice that they took off that restriction. And also, after combat, if she attacks, she's going to take 4 chip damage. So not a big deal, because the full HP requirement is no longer in play, so she can take all the chip damage she wants now. And the special effect is, if the foe initiates combat, or if unit's HP is not full at the start of combat, grants attack, speed, defense, and res up 4 to unit during combat. And if unit deals damage to foe during combat, she's going to heal 7 HP. Oh, we're already getting another weapon that does this. So she heals 7 HP per hit, which we've already seen on Legendary Salif, and it's really good to be able to do that. The healing is super real. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to combo with the chip damage she does on her weapon. That's going to be after combat, so let's say you had, I don't know, you took 7 HP's worth of damage, and you do 1 hit on the foe and you KO them. You're going to recover 7 HP, but then immediately after, you're going to take 4 HP's worth of damage. So it's impossible for her to, like, mitigate the chip damage in the same vein that push skills interact with something like Mystic Boost. So that kind of sucks a little bit, but not really the biggest deal. It's not going to bother her all that much. And there was actually a mistake with the translation for her weapon effect, so let's just head over to the subreddit real quick and take a look. So this is what it says in Japanese. I'm not going to read that. But over here it says, from our homie Rabbit down here, shoutouts to Rabbit for giving us this translation. Just a heads up, there is a translation error for beloved Zofia. The refined part states if either unit's or foe's HP is not full at the start of combat. And it says here in bold, the refined part is not guaranteed to activate during the enemy phase. So what that means is, this part here where it says if the foe initiates combat, that condition is non-existent. It's unfortunate, because that would have meant that she only had to bait the foes to get that off. But the real requirement is that her HP or the foe's HP cannot be full for this to activate. So that seems like it's going to be pretty easy though, because of course, like I explained just before, she's going to take that 4 chip damage from her weapon anyway. So it's going to be very likely that she's not at full HP, or even if she's at full HP, there's a chance that the foe might not be. So it's still not too hard of a requirement to activate, and she's still going to be pretty dominant on the enemy phase with all the effects she's gaining. Definitely a much needed refine for this Celica. She was one of the most underpowered sword units you could get. And our final refine is going to be for Sheena. So she gets the Crimson Axe, and it says here, accelerates special trigger, so already the Slaying Axe effect, very good. If the foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is full at the start of combat, grants attack and defense up 5 to unit during combat, and inflicts the guard effect. Okay, that's pretty dope. So she has a slaying effect, she has the guard effect, and then she gets attack and defense up 5 if the foe initiates combat. Pretty solid refine, especially for defense. Guard effects are super good for armored units to be able to bait with. Now, the one bad thing to all 3 of these free-to-play armor options that we've gotten on their refines, in terms of Sheena, Gwendolyn, and Draug, they have really bad base attack. They're only at base attack 30, and unfortunately, none of them really got some, like, crazy way to just add damage on their refine, which I was kind of hoping for. The -1 special trigger that Sheena got is actually pretty solid, though, because you can just easily activate one of the higher cost specials, like maybe Luna or something like that, if you wanted to add damage. And Gwendolyn actually got a breath effect where she can ramp into specials, so those are pretty solid, but unfortunately Draug, all he really has on his weapon is just tanking, and then he does gain like some attack as a boost, but it's not really enough. That guy just hits like a feather, so it's pretty easy to just not even worry about getting hit by that guy. A little unfortunate for Draug, but still pretty strong refines on all 3 in terms of tanking and baiting, so very solid stuff, of course. Okay, so now let's move on to the units that are going to be coming out on the summer banner. I actually haven't decided yet if I want to summon on this banner, because, I mean, right now we still have the Legendary Salif banner going on, and I might want to just dump whatever orbs I have left on blue to try and get some more last-minute copies of Chrom. Or if I don't do that, there's actually one other thing that I want to do, which is, I guess we can talk about it right now. So this banner here, the Desert Mercenaries banner that won the poll on Twitter to make a comeback, is going to be coming back on the 11th, which is only in a couple of days. So you may want to hold out your orbs for this, actually, because we are going to get the 40 summoner count on this. And we're also going to get the rerun of the Forging Bonds, so you'll be able to pick up some tickets as well. It's always a good idea to go in on those 40 summon count banners with the tickets and just pick up a free copy of the Focus unit. Jarek is a really good unit to pick up because he's got the Fire Sweep Axe and Sudden Panic. And of course, Duo Ephraim, what needs to be said about him? He has Heavy Blade 4 and Lull Attack and Defense 3. So he's just a fantastic unit for fodder, or if you want to use him, he's really good as that too. So I think it might be best to just hold off your orbs for this banner instead of the summer banner. But of course, that's going to be up to your own discretion, because the summer banner, I can understand totally if you guys want to just go in for your favorites in these really awesome outfits. Okay, so we're going to talk about the stats here. So for Summer Ingrid, she's got 39 HP, 34 attack, 42 speed, 25 defense, and 26 res at neutral. Let me just quickly bring up the calculator and let's take a look at her BST as well while we're at it. Oh, and on topic of her stats, she also has the Super Boon in both speed and defense. So you may want to go plus speed or plus defense on Ingrid. Most likely plus speed, I would say. And that rounds her out at a 166 BST, so pretty solid. Alright, next up we've got Sylvain, who is the demote unit. And that means, of course, he's going to be one of the easier ones to go ahead and pick up merges on. Alright, he's got 42 HP, 32 attack, 35 speed, 27 defense, and 16 res. And unfortunately, they really did our boy Sylvain dirty here because he doesn't have any super boons at all, just like Loot that we saw on the previous banner. They're really stingy with giving out these demote units that have super boons. I don't know why, but I mean, come on, at least give us that one thing, right? Like, it would have been so useful for this guy if he had an attacker speed super boon. But whatever, I mean, it is what it is. And actually, a couple people were saying this guy is probably the best free-to-play merge option you could go for a Green Tome Cavalry unit. Now, of course, there's not really too much competition there. We only have the Picnic Leo and pretty much Cecilia, and I think that's about it. All the other Green Tome horses have been 5-star locked. So if you want to go in and get some merges of Sylvain for possibly a Cav line setup or just a regular old cavalry team, that might not be too bad of an idea. So you may want to consider going for that if you're interested. Alright, next up we've got Dorothea. So Dorothea is a dancer, of course, so her BST may not be the best, but she's got 38 HP. She has 37 attack with the attack super boon, 36 speed, she's got 16 defense, and 30 res for a grand total of 157. That's not too shabby, actually. I think she ties, or she may have more BST overall than Tethys. I would have to double check on that, but 157 for a infantry dancer is actually pretty good, man. That's not too shabby. And her stat line is pretty solid. She's got a lot of attack and speed with the attack super boon, of course. So Dorothea doesn't look too shabby. And next up, we have the duo unit here. I already kind of covered their stats in the trailer breakdown because I did manage to catch the screen where they showed the stats for a brief moment. So her BST is 155 and she has 40 HP, 36 attack, 42 speed, 16 defense, and 21 res at neutral. And of course, she has a super boon in speed, so that's probably definitely what you want to go for, especially with the Desperation Duo skill, where you'll be able to just instantly double attack foes right in a row, and that's why you're going to want to have a lot of speed on them. So pretty solid duo unit. And our final unit we're going to talk about is the Tempest Trial prize. So we have Lorenz over here, and his stats are 45 HP, 32 attack, 31 speed, 25 defense, and 29 res for a total of 162 BST. Now, this guy, he's pretty much doomed right from the start, unfortunately. I don't want to mess with any Lorenz fans out there, but like, for all the competitive Fae players out there, this guy is not really going to be worth it to invest any resources in. He's got 32 attack and 31 speed. That's already really not that good. If we're comparing him to other free-to-play infantry red tomes we've got, like Tharja, for example, who's got a way better attack and speed combo and a way better weapon. Or even Lilina, who's just a massive nuker who can deal tons of damage. Or even if you want to compare him to another Tempest Trial or Grand Hero Battle unit, we already have Iago, who's got way more attack, and Iago's perf is really good. So I don't really think too many people are going to want to invest in this Lorenz, unfortunately. Unless he's one of your favorite characters, then definitely go for it. His artwork is actually pretty funky, to be honest, so that's pretty cool. And for Lorenz's base kit, we have right here all of his stuff. So his weapon is called the Conch Bouquet. Let me just quickly zoom this out a little bit. Okay, so Conch Bouquet, during unit's first combat in player phase or enemy phase, grants attack and res up 5 to unit, and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. So pretty much just the Red Tome version of Sylvain and Dorothea's weapon. Now, Dorothea, of course, was a dagger, so she came with Dagger 7. So I guess her version is a little bit better than the other two, but not really the biggest deal. He also comes with Pivot, Fire Boost 3 as a 5-star, and even Res Wave 3 as a 4-star. Maybe I guess his weapon is the best thing he comes with, so if you want to pass that along to somebody, you may be able to come up with something for that, but I don't know. I don't really think his weapon is all that crazy. And I added this little bit on the bottom here where we have the Tempest Trial seals. So it looks like our seals for this round are going to be Mirror Strike 2 and Speed and Res Solo 3. That's pretty dope, actually. We're going to start getting solo skills now. Of course, the solo skills are fantastic already as A-slot passives, and they didn't even get that much of a bump from the level 4 variants. They only gained 1 extra point in stats. So having these level 3 solo skills as Sacred Seals is going to be really powerful for a lot of players, and particularly the staff units actually get a massive buff from this, because solo skills are one of the few stat bonus skills they can actually run. I can't wait for Attack and Speed Solo 3, or like some of the crazier combinations to come out. That's going to be pretty wild times, but it is nice that they're finally on the horizon, so good stuff to look forward to. And Mirror Strike, I mean, we didn't really talk about Mirror Strike too much, but it's a really good seal, of course. Just gaining some attack and res when you initiate, always going to be nice. And the final thing that I want to talk about in this update, I know this one was a long one because we had a lot of stuff to cover, but Guard Bearing, it looks like this skill is going to be locked to Flyer type units. So Flyer units finally got their own unique beast skill besides Pegasus Flight. And Pegasus Flight was already a little bit wonky, so I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. Now, here's the bad thing about Guard Bearing. It's only for melee types, so your swords, your lances, and your axes. And they really did dragons dirty here because it doesn't look like breath type units are going to be able to get it. That's already a big RIP for Myrrh, because Myrrh was the first unit that came to mind for me for who I would have wanted to inherit this on. She's one of the best bait flying units, and of course she just got her refine, so Myrrh has been making a pretty solid comeback into the meta. Also, Lilith would have liked to have this, like just anything for Lilith would have been nice, but nah, it doesn't look like the dragons are going to be able to get it. They've been doing dragons real dirty ever since, like, I don't know why, because dragon type units aren't even that OP or anything. There's so many weapons that deal effective damage on them, so I feel like dragon units could have at least gotten this one. They can't have Gale Force or stuff like that, so at least if they had something, but nah, they just wanted to just completely jerk the dragons once again, so a little unfortunate that Myrrh can't get this, but still a pretty solid B-slot skill, and finally flying bait units have another option to go for besides just plain old quick repost. So pretty solid stuff and a lot of stuff to cover in the update here, so definitely let me know in the comment section, guys, what your favorite part of this update actually is and why. I think for me it's definitely got to be the refines, because all 4 of them were pretty strong, and all of those old units really could use the refines and get some much needed power boosts. So that's it for today's update video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and thanks so much as always for always supporting the channel and doing all that great stuff you guys always do. So just as a final shout out to everyone who watched the video up to this point, you guys are the MVPs for sure, and you guys just make my day. So that's all for the video, guys. And as always, this is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, y'all, and I'll catch you guys again on the flip side,